Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents with me, your host, Valerie. My sometime co-host, Miss Purrington, is back at home while I was on location at the 2019 ATX TV Festival. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy, including those just passing through. We bring you articles, podcasts, album reviews, and live shows featuring the best in Austin comedy in all its shapes and formats. Launched in 2016, the podcast project brings you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a guest's background and motivations, and will usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the Austin comedy scene one of the best in the country. Be sure to visit ComedyWham.com, give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at ComedyWham, and like our Facebook page. You can listen to past interviews on iTunes or your favorite podcast player, and review us while you're at it. Today, we're bringing you a special treat. This episode was recorded during the 2019 ATX Television Festival. I sat down with some of the cast and executive producers of the comedy series with 6 seasons under its belt, and it all began as a short-form YouTube web series. The show is set in a small town in Ontario that focuses on the adventures and dust-ups with hicks, skids, and hockey players, in a bar that just can't seem to stay open. The show has achieved cult status in its 6 seasons, has its own fan podcast, How Are You Now?, countless meme accounts, merchandise, a live show tour, in its own unique language. During the ATX TV Fest, Hulu announced that the show will release its 7th season as a Hulu Original in October, with 3 more seasons on order after that. And during this 2-part interview, I first sit down with Mark Montefiore, executive producer, and Nathan Dales, who plays Darryl. After a brief musical interlude, you'll then hear my interview with Jacob Tierney, who is the executive producer, director, and also plays Pastor Glen. Michelle Mylett, who plays Katy, and Trevor Wilson, who plays Squirrely Dan. And now, Comedy Wham presents our guests from the Hulu Original, live from the 2019 ATX TV Festival, Letterkenny. Well, I usually start these interviews by doing a couple of shout-outs to why you're here. First of all, 2019 ATX TV Festival, and you're here promoting Letterkenny, which is, this is where I have to contain myself because I am a super fan.
Nice.
Have watched all episodes 4 times plus.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm hardcore,
Nice.
so
Wow.
This is like
That's awesome.
super honored to be able to talk to
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
Nathan Dales and Mark, and I didn't confirm the pronunciation of your last name.
All good.
Montefiore?
Montefiore, perfect. Look at that. Beautiful.
Close.
It's like you're Italian.
That's great. For somebody to think they didn't know it, that
Yeah,
was
exactly.
Well, yeah. All right, so Comedy Wham is our website, and we talk to comics, and this is really exciting because this is an opportunity to talk to a TV show, a comedy TV show. Now, you're on board with this as a comedy TV show.
Yeah, big time.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the reason I ask that is because there are some serious elements that you bring in, politics, and I think indigenous people's issues. I mean, there's a lot of non-comedic elements that you bring in. All right, so for anybody that's listening that doesn't know, Nathan, you are Darryl.
That's correct.
Legendary.
Yeah.
And Mark, you're the guy behind the scenes.
Yep.
So this weekend has been a big weekend, right? Because Hulu just announced your Letterkenny is now a Hulu original, and you're going to bring us the 7th season in October of 2019.
October 14th, yeah.
October 14th, yep.
Ooh, exciting. So,
We do a sneak peek episode today.
Yeah.
yay,
Yeah.
exciting.
Big time.
So how does it feel to be like part of this creation, this entity?
Oh my God, being part of Letterkenny. Nate was there from basically the beginning with Jared. I came in a little bit after that to convert it from the web series to television. But being a part of this is just so special. of what's been happening with it and how it's been growing and mostly how it's been affecting people. It's there's so many fans of the show, which is great, but seeing how it actually affects people in a positive way, I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that, than the work you do that actually inspires and helps people and, gives them a great day.
Yeah, I think
that's amazing.
I think that's super cool too, is the way that it affects people. Because it's like, obviously it's fun for us to do, like, there's no question about that. It's gonna be a ton of fun to do, to read the scripts, to get on set, to then see the finished product and stuff like that. But getting feedback from fans and stuff like that and seeing how it does affect people is crazy. It's so nice to hear, like, when you're making a comedy show, to hear that it's, perking up people's day, or they laugh themselves until they pee themselves, or whatever it is, right? It's just fun. And so it's just like, man, it's such a cool part such a cool thing to be a part of, and to make something that's kind of would make a difference in somebody's life or people's lives or whatever, and also it to be really fun to do ourselves.
And it reflects a lot of people's lives, in some strange way. That's what I connected to it.
Right.
When I first saw it, I found it online. A buddy of mine sent that to me, Dane Clark. He said, I think you're going to like this. Check it out. There was 300,000-400,000 hits at that time as YouTube videos, just the first 2 episodes that I had seen, the hockey players and the produce stand. I just fell in love with it. Like, my God. I recognize myself. I grew up in a small town called St. Catharines, about 100,000 people, or 130,000 people, and I recognize myself in each one of these characters, including the skids at the produce stand. And then I also recognize my friends that I grew up with in that. My God, this speaks to so many people. Jared Kiesel just created something that's so universal and relatable.
And Nathan, starting from day one with the web series Letterkenny Problems, I mean, did you have any idea?
No, not at all. No, we were talking about, like, if you're trying to make something, you want to shoot for the stars, right? You want the best things to happen for it possible, but you also need to be a little bit realistic in some sort of way, right? And so, no, absolutely not. We just started. Jared and I were just making videos. We had made some other videos that were not Letterkenny Problems and not Letterkenny related, and they were kind of coming up to mixed reviews or mixed success in terms of hit counts and stuff like that. And then he brought to me Letterkenny Problems as a potential for a web series, and he has said, I think this is going to be really funny. You want to do it? It's like, of course. I can jump on board. He's my pal, and then we're having a good time. And then he's got this script. Go through it, and then all of a sudden it starts to go, and it's just like, we wanted it to go, but you never know if anything's going to hit or anything like that, and then all of a sudden it just starts to get big, and Mark gets involved and pushes it to where it is now, gets us into a TV show. It's like, come on, get out of here. So to take it from the web series to then, Mark catching on to it, to then him taking it from there, taking it to the broadcasters and getting us a television show, is just never could I have imagined, and not in 100 years, no. But so happy with it.
What's been beautiful about Letterkenny is that it's constantly evolving. Not only creatively, but also the scope of the show. It started as a YouTube series, and then it built out 6 episodes in TV episodes in Canada with Crave TV, who've been amazing partners in the beginning, and then 7 episodes season 2. And then we did 20 the next year, and then we started looking at coming to the U.S. and then it's building into a live tour. And now Hulu's calling it original series, and it's all these things like one thing at a time, right?
Yeah.
And it's just continuing to snowball, which is unbelievable to be a part of.
It's crazy. It is. It evolves like that, and it's just like you don't know where the thing is going, but you always want to shoot for the highest you can go. Obviously, I think that's the best part about everybody that's a part of the team, is everybody has high hopes. You never know where it's going to go, but you push as hard as you can, and you do the best you can all the time. And a big part of it clearly is Jared in his mind, and Mark pushing on the like behind the scenes and everything like that. And he's getting these deals done and everything like that, and making sure that it's going. We're connecting with the right partners, the Hulu, and then building us a live tour and everything like that. And it's crazy. The evolution of the show it's kind of madness, and it's just like it eats up all of my time, and I would not change it for a second.
100%.
Not even a little bit. If this is the only thing I ever thought about ever again, it's like, fuck it, I'm cool. Pardon me. Yeah.
And from the fan perspective, you've got fan podcasts. I will give a shout out to one of my favorite is the How Are You Now podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So great. That's breaking down every episode. There are people that do these deep dives into each episode with the language. I mean, I have to resist talking in Letterkenny when I'm talking to my friends, and the friends that are as hardcore.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. The hardcore addict fans that I know, that's all we talk in is, how are you now? Good, and you, and can confirm the whole thing.
It's amazing.
It's crazy. It's it. Because I try to think of parallels, and there
there aren't many that I can think of that are parallels. Like I consider Seinfeld, where there's different categories of people. Like you have the different categories of groups,
Right.
and a language that exists. I mean, that's such a big deal that you've reached that as a web series that has grown with people who can push and advocate.
I mean, it's pretty cool in terms of just the language and stuff like that. I mean, that's Jared's mind. That's Keith's mind for sure, because he's the one who's doing all that kind of stuff from day one, right? And so, creating a new language and having that evolve, and it evolving on set and it evolving just through talking with each other and stuff like that. It's cool, and so it's always really nice when people pick up on that and they are attracted to that and really like the new language and can enjoy it as much as we enjoy doing it. And it's just like, well, that's cool. That's the best part. When people enjoy it enough to want to talk about it, I think that's very cool. Yeah.
And his ability to craft a phrase or a sentence with this wordplay is it's unparalleled. It's I've been working with Jared now for 4 years, 5 years, and if there was a way, like, I would pay to be able to understand how he comes up. Like, I just don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
We see it on the page because he doesn't really talk like that. It doesn't. Like, you wouldn't guess that, like, just hearing him talk that's what he's writing. But just to understand, well, how does he twist those words? Like, how does that actually happen?
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated by it.
Yeah. he does a hell of a job of it. Yeah, definitely.
Any glimpses into the future seasons that you want to share with us?
Good question. We're gonna show an episode today, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
It's
and then other than that, I think we're gonna let it be a secret. We're gonna let it come out, and people are just gonna have to sort of see it. And this is the first time that I'm gonna see this episode as well too, for that's actually finished and stuff like that. So that's an interesting thing to see as well. But for the rest of the season, I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be like the rest of them. But we're gonna keep our hats on that one for a second. Just let the surprise build a little bit. Wait a few months, and then.
Are you nervous to see it with an audience?
I'm a little bit nervous to see it with an audience for the first time. Yes, a little bit. Yeah.
Because normally, where do you watch the episodes when you first see them?
Normally, when I first see them, it's at home by myself. Or you know what? When we come out on Christmas, usually I'm at Mom and Dad's place and I watch it with Mom and Dad. Right. But other than that, I mean, when if we're not premiering on Christmas or if I'm busy on Christmas or something like that, it's watch them at home by myself.
Okay, now I got questions about that. So you watch it with your parents. Of all the ridiculous things and disgusting things you say and do in the show, is there any disclaimer before you press back? Hey, Ma, so before you watch this episode, just so you know, I had no choice in this. But
there isn't. There's a disclaimer. She knows from day one. She doesn't like the language. My mom hates the language. Although I do look over at her when she's watching, and she smiles. She's got a big smile. And it's just so nice to be able to watch something like with your parents. I think who've been so supportive of it always. And then even if it's something disgusting, but to have them watch and to have them enjoy it and stuff like that, and to be able to watch it with them. And it's something that I spend a lot of time on, and to create something like this with a group of people I could do, it's just like it's really nice to then be able to share it with them. Sure, some of the language is a bit choice and some of the content is a bit choice, but at the end of the day, it's cool, and I think they're proud of that because, I'm sure everybody's parents are proud of that because they get to see that you get to see what you're working on, and they get to see what lots of people get to see, which is cool.
I don't know, man. I watched Fart Book with my parents. They're Italian immigrants. They're just kind of like. So we moved to Canada, and
our son is a fart man? What is that? I'm not really sure what that is. Not quite Mom and Dad, but you know what? Sure, whatever. Yeah.
Mark, can you tell us if Letterkenny will continue the tradition of the one-off special holiday episodes in future seasons?
That's the plan. Things are, things always change and whatnot, but that's currently the plan. We love it. The fans love it.
I like this. Yeah, they're really fun to
Jared
shoot
loves
too,
writing them.
Yeah.
So we'll keep doing it as long as we can.
Yeah, they're really fun to do. They're super fun in production and stuff like that, and they're obviously fun as one-off shows because they're a little bit they're kind of weird but really fun and great, and I think the audience really likes it. So that's the plan. Yeah, like Mark said, things change, but for right now they're fun and people seem to really like them, and so yeah.
Awesome. All right, so at Comedy Wham, one of the signature interview questions that I do, I'm condensing it for you because we're in a short format. One word from each of you, one word to describe your past and one word to describe your future.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
My past,
Whoa.
garbage.
Regretful?
Regretful? Yeah, no, you know what? Let's go with regretful. Let's go with regretful. Thank you, Mark. Regretful, and the future, optimistic. Hell yeah, optimistic. Regretful and optimistic, yeah.
People always have fun with these questions.
Oh, man.
But I like the deer in the headlights response that I...
That's wild. Well, then you started me thinking about the past. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Oh, man.
I took regretful. You can't have that one.
Yeah, I meant to say that as mine, but...
There are no rules, so if you really want to.
Yeah. Huh. The past, that's a good one.
Blurry?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take yours. You
Okay.
took mine, I'm going to take yours.
Done.
Blurry, that's a good one.
Blurry.
Yeah. And future, Ferda.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Excellent. Oh my
I
gosh.
agree with that. Those are optimistic answers. I dig that, man. Coupled with some weird ones from the past. That was an odd one. I did not expect that.
Well, I have no idea how I'm going to wrap this up because I'm going to combine it with an interview with
Yeah, 'cause you need all the other guys, right?
castmates.
Excellent, excellent.
But my gosh, I'm Valerie Lopez, Nathan Dales, Mark Montefiore.
Look at that.
Look at
Pronunciation.
that.
Perfect.
I'm
Perfect.
Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you so
for
much.
having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Travis.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Right.
Fisticuffs.
Throw down.
I am super, super excited to get to sit down with 3 of the cast members and an executive producer and director of one of my all-time favorite TV shows. And I know that one of my guests here has heard this spiel. I have watched all seasons 4+ times. So I am hardcore.
You know it better than we do.
Yeah, I'm like, uh-oh.
Don't quiz me.
Can confirm. And I will try not to slip into Letterkenny speak too much here. I want to introduce my guests from Letterkenny. We have Trevor Wilson.
Hello.
Hello. We have Michelle Mylett.
Hi.
And Jacob Tierney.
Hi.
And Michelle is, I always call you Katy Cat
Yep.
to friends and family. And we have Squirrely Dan. And we have Pastor Glen.
That's me. That's me.
Now, you're all here for the 2019 ATX TV Festival, and I'm going to pick on you first, Jacob,
Sure.
because you have a certain dialect with Pastor Glen.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some friends who do a fan podcast called How Are You Now podcast, and they wanted to ask, why does Pastor Glen have a southern accent?
I mean, I wish I had a good reason for you, but it's a voice I did to make Jared laugh, and we made a character out of it. And I lived in Georgia when I was a teenager for a while.
Okay.
So there's a bit of that there. And beyond that, it was just a funny voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. That'll work.
Great.
Nope, you're trying. You have to say.
I know, I can't get through that.
No, you can't.
I'm not letting
You
him
can't. Okay, Michelle,
Yes.
I want to ask you this question because one of the things that I'm not sure people pick up on with the show is how empowered the women are that are on the show. And you're working in an industry that is very dominated by men. You presumably work with a cast and crew that is male-dominated, but the female characters in Letterkenny are very strong, and it's not just about, the sexuality, although there is obviously that. But how does it feel working with a cast and crew that really celebrate both women, and I'll even pick on Professor Tricia, who's a great influence that makes a positive capture of women in characters.
Yeah. It's the best to answer. I mean, it's funny because it's not, like I've said this already, I didn't come onto the show with the worry that it was just from the writing, the first time I read the script, it was so clear to me that she was written from a power position, and there was never a feeling that I was playing somebody that I wasn't proud of. So, and that was just the way that they wrote her, and the way that all of the women, and then a lot of the men too. It's just an equal playing field for humans to be friends and family, and it just doesn't feel like something that needs to even be discussed on the show. Like, she's just is exactly who she is all the time, and she's supported. And even if Wayne doesn't agree or doesn't like something that she does, because he is protective of her in a loving way, he always respects her first and foremost, and that's the most important part. And I feel like with Lisa's character and Tanis, like, they're all really strong women, and you may not agree with what they're doing or what they say, or they might have problems with other people, but they're always respected.
Right.
And that's, Lisa's character, she's respected. She's like
everyone
is.
Everyone
is.
But we do this with women. We do this with men. But I think we're especially conscious with women because it doesn't happen as much. But of letting people be the fullest version of themselves possible and being as funny. Whether you're talking about Gail or Mr. McMurray or Marianne and Betty Ann, for any of the female characters in the show. Tanis, obviously.
Yes.
These are people. They can go. What I like about all these characters is they can be rivals, they can be friends, they can be love interests, they're allowed to exist fully in the world. And I think that's why they feel empowered, is because they're not here to do one thing. They're here to do multiple things.
Exactly.
And who knows what they'll be doing next season, I think Tanis is the perfect example of that, in the sense that she opens the show as a villain, as a rival or a villain or something. She goes to being a friend, then to being Wayne's girlfriend, then to being his friend again, and then to now owning a hockey team. She's allowed to
exist,
be,
just be a
like
human
a person.
being, and all of the characters are allowed to be exactly who they are all of the time without having to worry about it. And women are no different. And it's
a
just
lot
been
of
a
them
really
is just drunk.
Yeah,
is what they're allowed to be all the time. Day drunk.
Day drunk all the time. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's been nice to not have to worry about how to make her strong. She just is, and she's written that way.
You don't have to sober up to come to work.
And I don't.
Which is great.
Oh, it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's a blessing. It's a gift.
It's a gift. I just found my niche, and I'm in it. Yeah.
It's not pronounced niche. It's pronounced lawn chair.
Lawn chair.
You're in it. Yeah.
She loves the suntan.
Take about 5 or 10% off there.
Bark alone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, Trevor.
Hello.
I loved your response to this one question when we sat down, so I will ask you a repeat question.
Okay.
When is Letterkenny Live coming to my town?
I have no idea. The plan is eventually. We.
Austin?
No. This was we have. I think fans in general, after seeing that there are 3 Letterkenny
You know how
lives,
everyone...
so everybody wants to know, when is it coming to my town? When is it coming to my town? And you're being very calm with this response, but during our interview, you were...
When your theater hires us,
Yeah, we don't make any of those
People also
decisions.
ask all the time,
Right.
when
No,
we get
I
a new
know.
season, as if it's our choice. It's we
Yeah.
give it when they tell us to.
We're puppets, man.
We're
We
puppets.
just do what we're told.
When
It's
Bell
true.
and Hulu would like it to be
Yeah.
on the TV.
Exactly.
why don't you make the show go here? Why doesn't it happen like this? I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to come work in whatever weird town you're in.
Yeah, we love to work.
I like
love
earning
it.
a living.
Yeah, it's dope.
More money, great. But I don't make those decisions.
It can be exchanged for goods and services money,
Yeah.
which is the nice thing about
It
it.
really can.
The one thing I've learned doing this show, and as far-reaching as this show is that most of the world does not understand how TV is made.
Yeah.
Because I'll get messages all the time from people being like, I got a cousin who's a fall-down drunk who lives in, Pissville nowhere. He'd be perfect for your show. And it's like, no, he really wouldn't. We are actors playing characters. You don't want a real horrible person from a small town to come be your character.
We would love to come to your town if we live, sure. Like, my God, we'd
It'd
love
be
to
very
come
nice.
everywhere. But
Well, I would surmise that it's inevitable, because I know that the 3 that were announced have sold out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I
They
think
added
the
second shows, and then we
popularity-
sold those out, too.
Yeah,
so.
so the demand is clearly there. So hopefully it is something.
But
that
then we
see
also have to
because the
carve
show-
out time to make the actual show.
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
real.
That's
the
the
real
bread
kit and
and
caboodle.
butter.
That's your meat and
Yeah.
ladies, right?
And also have lives.
Yeah. I'm on the live tour this time. So I'm joining these guys
Yeah.
for the first time. and I'm
Michelle
really
is coming on the
excited.
road with us for the first time.
And this guy will come soon. too. Yeah, I'm really excited though. I'm nervous actually.
Get to experience all the joy of
Well, yeah. Remember, don't suck.
waking up
I'm gonna
early
try-
and moving
Just-
to another
I
town.
know.
Fuck it up.
Especially with these guys. They have so much experience.
We have probably the most experience at sucking on stage.
Okay, I want to then ask you a follow-up question. Do you think that Professor Tricia is somebody that's based in real life? How did that notion of that character that you reference so often?
To be honest, she was an ad-lib. We were doing the scene, and I was just supposed to rant angrily about Gail suggesting the finger up the bum. And Jared and Jacob were nice enough to just let me sort of go off the rails on that one.
We didn't have a choice.
And so I just threw out the Professor Tricia for my online women's studies course. And I just thought, what a ridiculous sentence for a farmer in overalls to suddenly yell. And
loved it.
And it stuck. And it's become this running gag throughout the show, this through line throughout. Dan is still aggressively taking his women's studies course and has become this firm, supporter of women's rights and
Very
LGBTQ
enlightened,
rights.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Dan is a very woke farmer.
Very woke.
It's the best.
woke.
And he teaches us all something almost every episode.
He likes to bring his knowledge to the group and share it with them and extol the virtues of Professor Tricia's teachings. And
We're going to find out it's a cult.
yeah,
Dan's in a cult.
I feel like I should actually take a women's studies course now, like just to.
Right.
Why start now?
You're very believable. You're very believable.
Oh, good,
as
good.
the character, so.
Yeah, no, Professor Tricia was just something I made up because I thought it would be really funny if a farmer took a women's studies class. The juxtaposition.
Small town Canadian farmer to boot.
Yep.
Yeah. So we, the public, have gotten the great exciting news that Letterkenny is now a Hulu original. The 7th season will drop on October 14th, I believe, and this must be news that you've had earlier notice of. How excited were you to know that this is now like a deal with Hulu to be a Hulu original?
It's great that they like it that much and they support the show that much to want to put their name on it, really. I mean, it's just access to a larger audience, and I think that's all you can really hope for, and it's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, it's as simple as that. I mean, we're happy, we love Crave, and we're in Canada, and that would have been, I mean, that was a success in itself if it had just sort of stayed in Canada and done really well. I think we were all really so proud, and just anything on top of that, on top of us just getting to make this show, the fact that people like it and it's moving around the world is amazing. Yeah, we're really excited. It's really cool. It's super flattering. Yeah.
Jacob, as director and cast member, how hard is it to wrangle your cast?
Oh, they're very wrangleable. We've been doing the show a long time now, and we all know what our days are going to look like pretty much, and we have a great time doing it. So it's very. This is not a problem cast for me. Yeah.
We're heavily sedated.
I keep them drugged.
I did have one specific question for you because I was looking at your biography, and you've been winning awards since 2004 with, I believe it was a Genie Award for Twist.
Yeah.
How did it feel winning an award as part of the Letterkenny show?
I mean, great. It's lovely. When your work is recognized, it's very nice. I didn't get into this business because I'm competitive or want to. I don't really care about stuff like that. But it's lovely. It's lovely to have your work recognized by your peers. It's very nice, and anything that brings more attention to the show is great. So it's like I'm proud of the work. I don't think there is a best directing until it's all a bit stupid to me, but. Terrific, I'll take it, yeah, it's nice. But again, it really is just about anything that brings more eyeballs onto the show is very nice, and it's we're thrilled.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'll ask you, Kate, Trevor, why don't any of the characters have parents?
Geez, actually, it'd probably be a better question for one of the writers.
When we do the prequel, you'll see that they were all murdered in one giant mining accident. I don't know.
It's actually a sequel. It's a sequel to The Children of the Corn.
Yeah, exactly.
We just decided to stop murdering each other at 18 and
They
grow
just chilled
up.
out. Yeah, they just calmed down a bit, kept the corn.
The corn god left, and
It's funny. The only person with a parent is Tanis. Wally is her dad, which we forget about. But no, it was a decision we just made at a certain point to be like, no, we're just not doing it.
we know that there's old people there because they're in the
On the
ag hall.
Yeah, exactly. But they're not related to anybody.
No.
So I'm going to do a lightning round. One of the things that I like to do with Comedy Wham is ask a one-word response to this question. I'm condensing it for this episode. One word to describe your past, one word to describe your future.
Oh, God.
That could be your response too, by the way.
Yeah. You start.
I believe I did this already.
Yeah, you did.
Ridiculous. And hopefully less ridiculous. I don't know.
You went over by so many words.
He's allowed.
Okay.
You guys try now. Judgy. Make me go first.
Mine's gonna
Mine is
suck.
melting.
Okay, past. Joyful. Well, but true. Moving forward, dogs. 'Cause I have one.
I watch your Instagram stories.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very accurate.
I'm embarrassed now.
Cautiously optimistic.
It's
Two
Goes
words.
for both.
that goes
Cautiously
optimistic.
Very good, very good. Thank
Aren't you smart, Jacob?
I had I gave myself the most time to think about it.
He's
I
smart.
tricked everybody.
Like,
Director and executive
right.
producer.
Exactly.
he is good. That's why he gets
Why they
all
pay
the
me scale.
awards.
That's right.
Well, this has been Comedy Wham presents the cast, part of the cast of Letterkenny, Trevor Wilson, Michelle Mylett, executive producer, director, and cast member Jacob Tierney. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.